Mercedes-Benz engine, the legendary engine. When you Google Mercedes-Benz 12.8 MBE4000 engine, you see the absolute worst of the worst of the worst reviews ever. You ain't gonna find that one good review on a Mercedes-Benz engine, and you ain't gonna hear me say one thing bad about it, because I ain't got nothing to say bad about it. It's the legendary engine. Now, it could be a unicorn engine. Maybe I'm the only person in the United States that got a working Mercedes-Benz engine. Now, that could be the case. That could be the case, because I ain't found nothing good about it. Now, like I said, it's a 2007. It just had an in-frame, with an aftermarket kit. Ran me about $8,500. That includes the turbo. The turbo was $1,200. So, you know, then I paid $1,500 to have the block cut. So the total price altogether, including the turbo, was $8,500 to in-frame the motor. So we got about, I in-framed the motor last December. So we in October now. So we're coming up on 1 year. No issues whatsoever. We got small leaks here and there, usually mostly coolant leaks. We got hoses and stuff that are busted. Let me show you right quick. Also, y'all pay attention to that right there. You see that? I mean, I had to make sure they can see that, what that says. Because see, people be looking at this right here. They be looking at that. And they don't realize. Truck diesel. There you go. Oh, yeah, that's what made my parts. All right, so with this engine, I'm usually experiencing coolant leaks coming from all rubber hoses, like this one right here is leaking. So what we do is we take the old rub off. We use this new technology right here. Now this right here is a big hose. You can see it's a silicone heater hose, nice and thick. We're gonna take this, we're gonna hook that in like that. We're gonna cut it right here, and we're gonna replace this old rubber with this new silicone heater hose, just like we did right here. So y'all can see we had old rubber right here. We cut that off and put a brand new one on. As far as what I did to the truck, the engine, got a new starter put on, which is right there. Replace the starter. Replace the turbo. This is an aftermarket turbo, boil water, S410. We replaced that. We replaced that, but we did the in-frame. And then I had to replace this oil return pipe right here, which all that comes with the turbo. And then we had another hose that was busted. This right here controls the AC. As y'all can see, we put new piping down. So from here over, as y'all can see, matter of fact, we still got the sticker right here. So we put a brand new coolant line on, just like we need to put this brand new hose on right there. Boom, that's gonna solve all our problems. This is that 2021 technology. We did our AC system. We changed out the AC receiver, the dryer, changed out the shocks. Up here in the front, we put a brand new AC condenser on up there in the front. That's brand new. And then here recently, I just put a new coolant tank on. So that coolant tank brand new. That coolant tank is about maybe 2 weeks old. Like I said, we can replace the hose on there so we can stop the leaking. You know, right now it's barely leaking, but it's gonna stop leaking when we replace the hose. These hoses are like 14 years old. They all original. When you replace the coolant tank, you need to replace the hoses too. So don't forget to do that. I should have had it replaced. I should have had the hoses replaced and all the claps replaced when I got the engine rebuilt. That would have stopped all the leaks. Is that something else we need to play? You see a hole right there?
I don't think it's a hole yet.
Shit. You can replace those. They original too.
Okay.
Look like it's gonna be a hole eventually, huh?
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, looking like it's too old. Yeah, we're gonna take that off next year. Yeah, that right there, that's a cheap repair right there. Other than that, on this side, that's all we've done to the engine. Oh, we had some we was having some issues with this thing right here. Now with this thing right here, you might want to get a closer shot. I don't know if the sun in the way this big old thing right here. And let me bring it to the other side. Yeah, man, y'all can see it. Yeah, this thing right there, long pipe right there. Yeah, we was really having issues with that thing right there. It was reducing my power. It was costing me more money in fuel because it was derating the truck. And what that thing is what they call a cancer box. That's what it is. Nothing but cancer runs through there. So unfortunately, because it was giving my engine cancer, I had to go and pay Migos to make it work again. And Migos came through. It only took about 2 hours. Migos came through. They cleaned all the cancer up out of that. And I'm telling you, it's been working perfect ever since Migos cleaned all that out. I ain't never had an issue with it. Yep. Never had an issue. Cancer free. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it. It's working perfect. I love it. It's a good design. Wonderful. The engine manufacturer that put that thing on, they did a wonderful job. It works perfect.
Let me ask you this. What were you saying about the way they designed the heads? You were saying something about you could take them off individually or something like that?
Yeah, so with the Mercedes-Benz engine, you got 6 heads. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Okay, so 6 heads, 6 pistons, 6 holes, 6 head gaskets. Let's say this one right here. Let's say I blow a head gasket right here. I can have the head brought up and I can put a new head gasket on right here. And if the piston, let's say a piston is bad, I can bring that one piston up and replace that one piston, put a new head gasket on. I can replace that head too for about $450. That's all the head costs for this engine, but just one head. But I got 6 of them, of course, so $400 each. I just replace that one part and keep it pushing. But a lot of the reasons people hate the Mercedes-Benz engine is because online they known to have problems with the heads, okay? But what a lot of people don't know is Mercedes-Benz went and redesigned the heads, okay? So you got 2 styles of heads. You got the style that's the raised heads, and you got the non-raised, okay? The non-raised are the ones that give everybody a problem. This right here is the new style of heads. These are the raised heads. They raised it to the heads to fix the coolant issues, the coolant ports that was giving it issues.
What's the year did they do that change? Or is it aftermarket, like if you get the heads later?
It's not aftermarket, it's original. I want to say after the year either 2004 or 2006. Okay. I'm not sure which one. You'll have to Google that. Okay. This is a 2006 model, so we know in 2006 they had the raised heads. Okay. So,
cause I'm gonna go look into that, bro.
Right, yeah. I think the ones without EGR are the ones that's got that new design. But the thing about it is, if you do get the old design, you can upgrade it. Okay. Yeah, you can go to the dealership, tell them you want new heads, you want the raised style, and boom, they'll give it to you. So. Okay. Just make sure when you rebuild the engine, it's very important to have the block cut. The reason you want to have the block cut is so that the head gasket can sit flat and seal the engine. If you don't get the block cut, and if you don't get the block cut, and it's not even, you're gonna have problems with your rebuild later. Okay, so it's very important to cut the block evenly so that the head gasket can sit flat, the heads can sit on now, and you will have a nice tight seal. So that's very important. Other than that, on this side, I replaced the alternator, I replaced the AC condenser, I replaced the water pump in the front. The water pump was $300. The AC compressor down here, that was about $300, and then the alternator was about $300. So that's about $1,000 in parts with tax. Got my filter, primary filter, secondary filter. We change those when we do the oil changes. Got my air compressor right here. That's original, haven't changed that yet. Of course, like I told you, we did the shocks on this side. Other than that, that's all I did on this side. So mainly what you need to know, like I said, AC compressor, alternator, primary filter, secondary filter. and air compressor. That's all you need to know. That's all you're gonna be replacing over here. You know, you're gonna get about 3 years out of the alternator, 3 years out of the compressor, and then about 10 to 15,000 miles on your filters and the air compressor and the water pump. I don't know, maybe those you get about 7 years, I guess. I'm not sure. Yep.
So Andrew, basically what you saying is you ain't spent no money on this truck, bro. Really?
Well, it depends, you know.
Because if the truck costs what the truck costs,
right, 15,000,
and now you done did a rebuild that costs less than the truck.
Yeah.
You ain't spent no money then, because that's just part of it. It was bound to happen. You're bound to need one.
Yeah, I mean it had was 725,000 miles when I bought it. Yep.
And more than likely, they probably put 700,000 plus miles on it, heavy miles. They probably put some hard miles on it. So now, ain't no reason, man, you shouldn't get 700,000 out of it. And you out here, you ain't burning the miles up like them people out there on the road putting 100,000, 200,000 miles, saying stuff and leaving comments. They mad because they burning up that fuel and you ain't.
Right.
Keep doing what you've been doing.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a very cheap truck to maintain. You know, that's probably why I'm never out of business.
Hey, what kind of fuel mileage you getting with this?
I say, because we had the ECM played with, say about 6 miles to the gallon, because it's got more horsepower than it originally came with. So more horsepower, you're gonna be burning more fuel, you know, but it pulls. So say about 6 miles to the gallon.
Hey man, you get more than me.
What you getting?
5.
You need to call Migos for that ECM. Go, yeah, get Migo on the phone. Migo gonna take care of that right there. But as far as the specs, we're looking at somewhere around in here is the specs. Is that it? Yeah, okay. 450 horsepower, 1900 RPMs. Other than that, this is original. You know, the heads are still original. When I did the rebuild, I didn't replace the heads. We inspected the heads. There was nothing wrong with it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. This side, though, I ever did the brakes, anything, that's still original. I just put brand new tires on, though. Going with the Yokohamas. The Yokohama. We got right there, got the 24.5s. And of course we always check and make sure we got always got hub grease up in there. So gotta make sure that's full on both sides. Other than that, just put a brand new headlight here. Got the LED spot bar up there in case I need to blind some people. That's pretty much all to it right there. Yep, got me a brand new city horn. Pretty much all I can think about. If I would say what's I'm gonna replace next, probably be a new radiator probably, whenever that goes out. Since the coolant tank was just replaced, we probably do a new radiator. The air was replaced. When they sold it to me, they just put the air on brand new, so that's not something I would need to replace. But that's pretty much it right there. Just run and collect the money, and when you fix everything up, you really don't know what's gonna go bad next. It's really just a waiting game. You just collect the money, and you know, today it's one thing, tomorrow it's another. You know, today, like I said, they get cooling out their holes up there. Yeah. Tomorrow it may be the other holes. You never know. But it's always gonna be something minor. You know, the engine they never gave me no problems except one time, which is the only time I ever had an issue. I was leaking coolant out of the heads because I had a drop liner, so that's what caused the end frame. And that was the only engine problem I ever had with this engine. No other engine problems whatsoever.
What was the sign that that you had to drop frame? Like what was it doing?
Well, the engine was still running perfect, but what it was doing, yeah, now the engine was still running perfectly, but what it was is I had coolant between the heads and the block. I had coolant running straight down onto the ground. Okay. So when I took it to the shop, they told me, hey, it's probably just need a new head gasket. So when they took the heads off to examine the pistons, that's when they obviously had to measure it. When they measured it, that's how they knew, hey man, it dropped a line, or it dropped 2 liners actually. So that's when they told me, hey, you just need a new air frame. So that's why we had to cut the block, because we dropped the liner, so we had to cut the block to make it even again. Put the new pistons in, put the new rods and mains, everything to come on the overhaul kit, and seal it back up. And like I said, we did that in December. We all the way in October, and yeah, still running good.
Now, what's the difference between, like, if you're trying to figure out whether you could just do the rods and mains and get away with that versus having to do the overhaul?
So actually, before I did the overhaul, I did the rods and mains. I did the rods and mains of December of 2019. I did the rods and mains. In March, so I did it in December. In March, that's when I had the problem up here. So what I would recommend is, I wouldn't do the rods and mains. Like Casanova had told me back in the day, it's best to do the top and the bottom together. Don't do it separately, because if you do the bottom and you find out you gotta do the top, you know, eventually, yeah, when you buy the top, it comes with the bottom. Okay. It's all in the kit. Yeah. So why do just the bottom when you can just do the top and bottom together? It comes in the kit, the overhaul kit. So, you know, I did that. So I ended up having to pay for a rebuild twice.
I got you.
Because the rods and mains to do that was $4,500, and do the whole engine with a turbo was $8,500. Yeah. So.
Now, so sometimes a person they'll try and do the rods and mains thinking that, okay, you know, man, that'll let them.
I thought I'd get another 500,000 miles out of it.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case.
Okay. So.
Oh, and one more thing, I put a new oil cooler on here. That was $800. This right here, this is all one piece, the oil cooler. Did that about 2 years ago.